Have you heard of the emotional pendulum? Have you ever wondered why you make really, really bad decisions when you're drunk? Or you make really bad decisions when you're really, 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 really happy? Or when you're really, really sad? And the emotional pendulum follows your emotions, right? So when you're really, really, really happy and you're high positive, then more likely than not, you've lost 40 IQ points. And when you're really, really sad and you're high negative, more likely than not, you've lost 40 IQ points. Therefore, if you're making decisions when you're in those high positive or high negative situation, you're probably making a terrible decision and it's probably going to cost you money. I learned this many, many years ago not to send responses to emails out of my emotion. Some people might think that I'm really, really blunt and maybe I'm too blunt. But some of the emails that, you send, and then within 10 seconds you regret it. That's when you know you've made a poor decision, right? Poor decision. And I'd probably stopped 20, 30 people from exiting the stock market when the stock market's gone down by 10 or 15, even 40%. And I've stopped them from exiting only for the stock market to rise again and for them to make back the money that they would have otherwise lost and then go on to make a bucket load more. So when people have the fear, when people have high emotions, someone gets up on stage, someone goes on to, does a webinar, someone's on TV talking about doom and gloom and, recession and, Donald Trump is so evil. And then the emotional aspect of it, the persuasion of those people talking about it, the emotional aspect makes you have that fear and that fear makes you want to sell. Think about that. If you did that last year, if you exited the US market, if you exited technology, if you hate Donald Trump, then you probably underperformed over the last 12 months, right? Because you made all these investment decisions from an emotional space instead of focusing on the analytical space. And that's where the emotional pendulum is critical. So what I want you to be thinking about when you're really, really, really excited about something, you need to come back down to center. When you're really, really upset about something, you need to come back down to center before making a decision. That's why they say you should sleep on it. Any major decision you need to make in your life, you should be sleeping on it. And that's one form of coming back to center. You've just got to be aware of when you're really, really, really high positive and when you're really, really high negative. You just got to be aware of it. And if you can become self-aware of it, that's when you're going to make the best decisions. And when it comes to investing, that's where you need to be. You need to be making the best analytical decisions. If you looked at my portfolio and you see what I do, I always invest for 5 years. So if you think about last year, Tesla stocks, I'm up hundreds of thousands, over 500,000, maybe even more, right? But if you look at Tesla stocks, last year goes all the way down to, $200, $250 US per share. I didn't freak out because my analytical brain kicks in and all the reasons why I'm invested in this company, because I truly believe Elon Musk is the next Rockefeller. If you don't know about Johnny Rockefeller, go look him up. First industrial billionaire, and then tell me that Elon Musk isn't doing the exact same thing, but in 2026. Tell me that. So did I freak out? No. Did I sell? No. Did I buy more? Yes. Have I made even more money because I continued to invest from an analytical side? Absolutely. I look at my investments in, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, but they're all for 5 years, right? So whatever happens in the next 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, I'm probably going to be less caring because I'm really thinking I've really invested in these companies for something which is going to happen in year 4 and year 5. I don't really care what happens in the next 6 months or 12 months. Something will happen that's emotional, that will persuade my opinion on something. And that's where I'm going to make a poor decision. When I'm looking at the long term of a company, I'm investing for 5 years. There's two types of strategies, right? You have short-term strategy, long-term strategy. Really simple. If you have a long-term strategy to buy, I don't know, to buy Microsoft, a long-term strategy to buy Microsoft, and then you sell it within the next 6 months, more likely than not, you've made a terrible decision and you're going to regret it in the future. I see people jumping in and out of stocks all the time, but they don't have a short-term strategy. They're claiming to have a long-term one. And if you're claiming to have a long-term strategy, but you're buying in and out of stocks, then you got to really question if you're making the right decisions because you're basing them on analytical side of the brain or you're basing it on your emotional side of the brain, which comes from that. And then you go back to and go, am I making the right decision? You look at it last year. Did you sell stocks when the media and the so-called experts and the people like JP Morgan were saying that there was a 60% chance, 70% chance the US would go into a recession? Did you sell out of the US market because of the fear that someone was selling you and you let your emotional side take over? Or did you double down because you're like, I know the performance of Donald Trump. We saw what he did in 2016 and 2020. We know what he does. We know his performance. Did you stay invested? Did you double down? Right? Comment below. Like, let me know how you went. What did you do? The emotional pendulum has saved me so much money and helped me make the right decisions because I now understand where I'm at and why I'm there. I'm Gary Brown. Keep investing and take control of your financial future.